Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Play on GAA with me, Seamus Brady. In this video, we're going to give a roundup of the matches which happened in the Leinster Football Championship of 2022 last weekend. And the first game we're going to go into is the one that most people were keeping an eye on going into the weekend, and that is always Dublin. GAA bring the eyeballs, and they really mopped the floor with Wexford at Wexford Park, winning by 124 to Wexford's 4 points. Wexford won the toss in the first half, like before the game started. They chose to play against the wind in the first half. Terrible decision by Wexford, in my opinion. Dean Rock hit the first point of the game, but worryingly, it took 8.5 minutes to come. Fenton's trademark kicking was fantastic throughout the game. I mean, he was the player of the match for me. He looked excellent. I mean, his point to make it 3-1 and then his point to make it 6-1 were absolutely majestic to watch. Con O'Callaghan was back in for Dublin, which is massive. He hit the crossbar when he went for goal. That went over. That made it 7 points to 1. Then Costello got a very nice point to make it 9 points to 1. In the second half, Con O'Callaghan got an early goal for Dublin, palmed it in after Dean Rock hit the bar with a shot that Dean Rock should have buried himself. 1-11 now to 1 point, and it's just awful to watch at this stage. Ben Brosnan hits a nice point for Wexford to make it 1-11 to 2 points. Con O'Callaghan hit a great score where he just showed all his determination. 114 to 2 points. A Dean Rock trademark point. He looks back into some vein of form. 118 to 2 points. Wexford managed to hit 2 points before the end of the game, but Dublin hit 3. And it was 121 to 4 points. A lovely Brian Howard score made it 122 to 4, and Dublin tagged on 2 more before the end of the game. I think we always knew Dublin were going to win this game. I mean, anyone who thought Wexford were actually going to win this game is out of their mind. Dublin were always going to win. But what can you actually take from this game for both sides? For Wexford, it was worrying how they just got shut down up front by a Dublin defence that actually has been on the ropes in the league matches going into the Tailteann Cup. Like, you've got sides in there like Cavan, I think, are going to be in there. I don't think Cavan will beat Donegal. You've got sides like Fermanagh in there who are defensively sound. So Wexford need to improve their attacking output. Johnny Cooper, interestingly enough, for Dublin was deployed as an extra defender at various stages in the game. I think that's definitely one to keep an eye on because, as I mentioned, the Dublin defence has been on the ropes in the last few league games. So Cooper going back there as an extra defender might be just what they need. Brian Fenton and Con O'Callaghan looked absolutely magnificent, but is this against a team that finished third bottom in Division 4? It's going to get harder, and it will get a lot harder against Meath in the Leinster semi-final. I still think Dublin are going to win that Leinster semi-final, but I don't know. It's hard to know where we're at right now. We were always going to win that game. We won it in more of a confident fashion than we won last year's game. I remember seeing the score last year and thinking Wexford were only the second team in 10 years to come within 10 points of Dublin in the Leinster Championship. So, look, we put them to the sword this time emphatically. And now we go on to play Meath. And speaking of Meath, they made history in their game against Wicklow. They scored the fastest championship goal ever. 9 seconds into the game, Ronan Jones had won the throw up, and he set it to Jack O'Connor, who turned his man and buried it into the net. So 9 seconds gone, and Meath have scored a goal. The second goal came soon after from James McEntee, who chased in a Brian Menton attempt for a point. That made it 2 goals to 2 points. Brian Menton, speaking of him, was very impressive in the match this time. I think he's the absolute heartbeat of Meath, alongside the likes of Donald Keogh and Jordan Morris. In the 45th minute, Matthew Costello hit a lovely goal for Meath, and now they had a 9-point lead. Mark Flynn hit a nice goal as well after being set up by Jordan Morris. And then Ushie McGrainer got a late goal for Wicklow to kind of give them a bit of a consolation. But Meath win comfortably, 4-13 to 1-12. And Meath have a tendency to do this in the Leinster Championship. They have a tendency to score a crazy amount of goals. I mean, that 2020 was the one where Jordan Morris had hit something like 5 or 6 goals already coming into the Leinster final against Dublin. It'll just be interesting to see, can they carry that into the Dublin game? Last year against Dublin, Matthew Costello got that goal, and Meath actually really looked to be pressuring Dublin coming towards the end of the game. So it'll be interesting to see if Dublin have widened the gap or have Meath closed it even further. Right now, I would still go with Dublin to win that game, but a full preview is coming up on the weekend here on Play on GAA. So let's look at the other games that were in the Leinster Football Championship. Kildare, their victory over Mickey Hart's high-flying Louth. They won by 222 to Louth's 12 points. And straight away, this was a one-sided beating. I mean, it was clear that Kildare were really not happy that people were giving Louth a chance. People were saying, oh, well, Kildare got relegated from Division 1 and Louth, getting promoted from Division 3 as champions, back-to-back promotions, Mickey Hart in charge. They got Sam O'Roy, they got Conor Grimes, they got Kieran Byrne. But Kildare weren't having any of it. And they showed the level difference between the two sides. They hit the first 7 points of the game. Ben McCormick hit 2 lovely ones. Daniel Flynn hit a cracker. Jimmy Hyland and Alex Byrne also got on the score sheet. Connor Early hit Louth's first point to make it 7 points to 1. And really at that stage, the game was pretty much already over. Kildare responded to that with 3 points, though, to make it 10 points to 1 before Mulroy pointed to make it 10-2. Louth were a bit better on the restart. An early Conor Grimes point. They started to get back into the game, but then there was a penalty awarded to Kildare after there was a foul on Daniel Flynn. Kevin Feely converted the penalty to make it 113 to 8 points, double scores. The game was pretty much finished there. Derek Irwin hit a lovely goal coming towards the end of the game to make it 220 to 11 points, and then it finished Kildare 222, Louth 12 points. As I mentioned, it's a statement by Kildare. They clearly weren't happy that people were giving Louth a chance at winning this game. And now Kildare go into a semi-final against Westmeath. And who do I think is going to win this game? Well, let's look at the Westmeath game. They beat Longford by 313 to 14 points in Mullingar. This is a Longford side that had pretty much a terrible league campaign up until the final day where they saved themselves from relegation. In the 20th minute, Nigel Hart pointed to make it 7-3 to Westmeath. They were quicker out the gate. John Heslin hit a goal to make it 1-9 to 4 points at half time. Then Ronan O'Toole goaled in the second half. He was only on as a blood sub, but what a blood sub. He scored a lovely goal for Westmeath and to give them a 9-point lead. But Longford responded with a 6-point burst. And crucially, Paddy Fox missed a desperately obvious goal chance. And then Westmeath responded with a Ray Kennellan boomer and a Robbie Ford goal, finished it off. And that was that. Westmeath on to the next round, winning by 313 to Longford's 14 points, as I mentioned. So once again, Kildare and Westmeath will play each other in the Leinster semi-final. They did so last season. Kildare got the win. I think that's how it's going to go again. Brutally honest, I think Kildare just showed in the Louth game that they're levels ahead of the chasing pack. I think it's Dublin number 1, Kildare number 2, and Meath number 3. I think Kildare are capable of beating Dublin. I just think playing in Croke Park is really different to playing in Newbridge. And if you say, oh, well, Kildare beat Dublin in the league, yeah, fair enough. But look at the Leinster final last year. That was a one-sided beatdown. It was Daniel Flynn against Dublin. And so have Kildare closed the gap that much in a year? I don't think so. And I think Dublin will win this Leinster title in 2022. But I think Kildare are the most likely to stop them. So yeah, that's the roundup of the Leinster Football Championship quarterfinals. The semi-finals are next, and we're only started May. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Until the next video here on Play on GAA, take care.